What's up guys, Jason here. As part of my August book haul, I first wanted to give a shout out to Nick over at another booktube channel. I recently entered a giveaway and won this beautiful hardcover edition of A Frugal Wizard's Handbook. So thank you once again, Nick, for this very generous prize. If you're not familiar with his channel, I will leave a link down below in the description. He has some great content and I highly suggest you check it out. So August had to be one of the most insane and luckiest months I've had as far as book collecting. On top of winning that book over on Nick's channel, I somehow managed to score one grail after another. I don't think I'll ever have another book haul to top this one, so without further ado, on to the showcase. Alright, first off, I have one of the most popular and sought after entries in the Malazan series, and that is Memories of Ice. This is actually my mass market paperback edition. For some reason, the hardcovers and trade paperbacks of this title are extremely rare and hard to find. If you go on eBay, you'll find them for anywhere around $100 to like $300. Luckily, I was able to find myself a nice hardcover copy of Memories of Ice. Unfortunately, this is a book club edition, which is a little bit smaller than the retail hardcover, but it's a huge upgrade over my beat up mass market paperback. These editions generally sell for much less than the retail hardcover, so if you're looking for any hardcover that's not going to break your wallet, this might be the one for you. One very important thing to take note of when shopping for a hardcover copy of this book is that many online retailers and eBay sellers don't know the difference between a book club edition and a retail hardcover. They'll even sell these books for the same market value as the retail hardcover for like $200 to $300. The easiest way to distinguish the book club edition from the retail hardcover is to look in the back with a dust jacket. And if you look in the bottom, you'll find two white boxes. You see the UPC and another small white box with this code. Along with this book club, I also scored myself a UK trade paperback edition of Memories of Ice, which is actually the very first published edition of this novel. And as you can see here, this is also a first print. This Bantam edition cost me about 20 bucks on eBay. I've seen this go from $60 to $200, so I'm very fortunate to have this. On top of this, I also scored a US trade paperback edition. And just like my Bantam copy of Memories of Ice, this is also a first printing. I completely forgot that I added this to my Powells.com wish list a few months ago. When I got the email alert, I was surprised that they were only selling it for around $8. Even more surprising is that this copy appears to have never been read, as there's no creasing on the binding at all. And just like the Bantam edition of Memories of Ice, the Tor version has a very high market value as well. I've seen these sell for more than $200. Alright, so I've been gradually collecting first editions of Frank Herbert's original Dune saga. So far I have a combination of book club editions and original hardcovers. Now, finding first editions of the original Dune can be a bit challenging and very expensive. I've seen first editions of Dune go for about $6,000 and up. Most collectors end up settling for a book club edition, which is more within reach, but can also be very pricey. So as a Dune fan, I've been on a hunt for an affordable book club edition. I ran into a listing online that was selling it for about $20. Unfortunately, when it came in the mail, this was missing the dust jacket that I was looking for. Naturally, I contacted the seller and they gave me a full refund and allowed me to keep the book. To my surprise, when I looked inside the book, this turned out to be not a book club edition, but according to this number line, this is actually a first edition 6 printing of Dune. And as you can imagine, I was in complete shock but jumping for joy at the same time. And to make things even better, this book is not a used library copy. There's no markings, there's no stampings. It's completely clean. There's no torn pages. The front and back side is in pretty good shape as well. So in a nutshell, I basically managed to score a first edition early printing of Dune for free. And shortly after receiving this copy of Dune, I managed to score an affordable $20 copy of the book club edition. Which also turned out to be in great shape. Next up, I got myself a US first edition copy of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Silmarillion. Now, this was advertised as a UK edition, which is actually the very first published edition of The Silmarillion. But in this case, I actually don't mind. I prefer this cover illustration, which is illustrated by J.R.R. Tolkien. And for $8, this turned out to be in better condition than I expected. And the map it came with is also still intact. And this is a first print. And for a side-by-side comparison, I have my first edition next to the recently released collector's edition, which I have yet to remove from the packaging. All right, so I've been gradually collecting first edition hardcovers of The Wheel of Time, and one of the ones I don't have was the Eye of the World. So I ordered one from Thrift Books, and they sent me over one with no dust jacket. It's a 40th printing, so nothing special about it. I contacted customer service telling them that it was missing a dust jacket, and they sent me over a replacement. Another beat up copy with a ripped up dust jacket. So I contacted customer service for a third time telling them, hey, you sent me over another bad copy. So they apologized and sent me over another replacement. Now, when I first got this, there was a UPC sticker right here. Luckily, I was able to safely peel it off using a hairdryer. Aside from that, the front cover looks to be in pretty good shape. Same on the binding. And pretty clean on the back side as well. Could the third time be the charm? Let's have a look inside. So as you can see here, earlier printings of the Eye of the World have this end paper illustration. Unfortunately, this library card here is glued to it. Now if I yank it off, it'll completely rip the illustration, unfortunately. And on this side, you can see there's some glue damage. Also, the corner of the flap was cut off. So this was obviously a used library copy, and if you look inside, you'll see some stampings indicating that this was discarded. Let's see how the back end looks. And as you can see here, there's also some glue damage. Which is unfortunate because this is a beautiful end paper illustration by the late great Darrell K. Sweet. The hardcover boards are in pretty bad shape. As you can see, there's some tape marks here. And the binding appears to be falling apart. So I was very disappointed considering this was advertised as being in very good condition, and I was about to throw in a towel and contact customer service for a fourth time until I examined the most important page. And bam! This turned out to be a first print. Now, first print hardcover copies of The Eye of the World are extremely rare. Only about 1,500 were printed, and most of them went to libraries. And that pretty much explains why this copy was in such bad shape. Not many of the first prints were found in retail. And it's even harder to find first print hardcovers in decent condition. I've seen these sell online for like $2,000 to $3,000 and up. So for $14, I really can't complain. I've had people offer me as much as $500 for this copy, but I currently have no plans to part ways with it. And shortly after receiving this first print copy of The Eye of the World, I stumbled upon this copy. This copy looks practically brand new, and I don't think it's ever been read. And as we look inside, the beautiful end paper illustration is fully intact. And this cost me a few dollars less than the retail price. And if you look at the most important page, this is actually a 9th printing. So yeah, I jumped through a lot of hoops just to find a decent first edition copy of The Eye of the World, but the effort was well worth it. If you enjoyed this content, please hit that like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next page.